Welcome back to Corey's Corner. I'm Corey, and this is my corner. And today I got a very special guest, Bash Wieland. Since he's a men's basketball player, and since it's March, who not better to have on than a basketball player? So welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it, Corey.
Thanks for coming on. I know your all season didn't end the way you all wanted it to, but this is the last year of transitioning. So next year you have a little bit more to fight for, I guess.
No doubt.
But that is if you decide you got one more year of eligibility, decisions to be made. If you want to come back, I know you've been here for a lot of school, so I get it. I mean, it's my senior year too, and I've only been here 4 years doing school, so I'm ready to be done. But you got decisions to make. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I mean, like you said, a lot of decisions to be made. Just talking with family, I'm not entirely sure, really. I mean, we've been here for 5 years, got 2 degrees, so it's going to be a difficult decision regardless. But just trying to get counsel from people that I respect their opinions, family, friends.
Yeah, definitely. Who are the closest people that you look for in that?
Well, definitely my dad. I feel like my dad's my best friend. Like, we could talk to each other about anything. I mean, he coached me growing up as long as I can remember, and he never once let me complain about like any coach ever or any referee, or
even if it was the hardest.
Even in elementary school, like, he loved playing me the least, like, just to teach me that you got to act the right way and you got to be a good teammate no matter how much you play. So I think that's really helped me.
Yeah, like, definitely.
High school and college career.
Where did you play for high school?
High school, Lakota East High School in Cincinnati. Okay. It's a suburb in Cincinnati in between. It's like 30 minutes from downtown Cincinnati and also 30 minutes from Dayton, so smack dab in the middle of those two cities.
I like to ask, since recruiting has become so different, what was the recruiting process like back then?
Well, my high school coach was really helpful in getting me recruited. AAU was also helpful, but it was just I never really played for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a train wreck because there's just so many teams in AAU. If you don't play, then it's like, let's join another team. So, I mean, including myself, it wasn't. I just ended up playing for a different team my senior year, or going into my senior year, I should say, which was Dayton Metro, which was a really good AAU program. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun playing AAU, but I got recruited mostly through high school. My head coach reached out to some schools for me, and not every place is like that. That's the cool part. Is he was very proactive, and he really helped me get recruited. Some high school coaches are like, I might be gone after this year. I'm not really gonna help, or they teach as well, so it's like the teaching aspect
definitely
is overwhelming for them, or I mean, whatever it may be. It's not like that everywhere, so I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, you talked about it was mainly high school. If you don't play AAU basketball nowadays, you have the smallest chance. Even most of the players that are recruited are from EYBL teams, which those are the top AAU teams. For those who don't know, they get ridiculous sponsorships. But it's kind of crazy too with recruiting now with the transfer portal. How is that played? Because you're meeting new players, but players that you could have been playing against, players that, I mean, I know, I can't remember his name, from Miami, Ohio.
Billy Smith?
Yeah, Billy. You all played against him, didn't you all?
Yeah.
And then he ended up transferring. So what was that like with transfers coming in?
Well, I was sure glad to have him because Miami, Ohio beat us by 4 in the 22-23 season. So then he came to us this past season, so I was really happy to have him.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if we played Miami, Ohio this year, we might be in some trouble if he's on the other squad. So.
Who were all the transfers this year?
So we had Billy, Miami, Ohio, like you mentioned, and Des McKinney's from North Dakota State.
Okay.
So he was there for 3 full years, and then transferred for.
Wow, that's so crazy. Transfer portal is insane.
And he's been a huge help as well.
Definitely.
It hurt us a lot. He missed 8 games or so because of an AC joint separation in his shoulder. It was mild, but still he had to miss some time. So that really hurt.
I mean, there's no point to further an injury when you could heal it and then be able to play at full. I'm sure the trainers, they're great. I haven't actually worked with any of them, but I'm sure you have. I mean, you had was it a season-ending injury last year, was it?
Yeah, so I broke my wrist against UK on November 29th of 2022.
And that was a scrimmage game. That was
a real game.
Okay.
We played UCLA on Sunday and then took the red eye that night. Got back Monday, slept for most of the day, and then Tuesday we played at UK, and I ended up just landing on and breaking my wrist. But I had surgery December 9th of 2022, and then the interesting part about that is, fast forward to this year, December 7th of 2023.
Yeah.
I went to go steal a ball and I broke my pinky. So I was out for around a month and a half, and I had surgery December 8th of 2023 after I just had it 364 days before.
That's crazy.
So
at least this year you were able to get back.
Yeah, I was very thankful for that, just because I've been on the other side. And my first 3 years of my career, like, I played very minimally. We were just really good. Like, we had a lot of older guys that were just better than me, and a lot of that had to do with winning the ASUN. Like, we had really, really good players.
How did you use that to better you in your career, learning from those players?
I mean, it just helped me appreciate that, wait your turn. And the thing that I appreciate about them is they were such good teammates. And that's why I was like, I'm going to practice even harder for those guys, despite maybe not playing, just because they would do the same thing for me. And I know how I'm wired, like, I would do that anyway, but just it helps to be surrounded by great people when it came to that. And then the year after that, I try to just take the things that they've taught me and handle myself the right way, be a good teammate, and just stay in the moment. That's a big thing for me.
How does Coach Davenport, how is he playing a role in these players, like teaching the younger players?
Well, yeah, I mean, he teaches us overall, and then we take what he says. And, I mean, I know that's a basic answer, but it's kind of just trickles down.
Definitely,
And the more player leadership you have, the better. If the coaches have to
do less, then it's
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a player-led team.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see that with, like, he does stuff for the managers, which is like, that's, at the end of the day, a manager's part of the coaching staff. They pretty much are helping coach. So you can see that they're there, and the players are helping coach the younger players. So, I mean, it's all, like, trickling down. Like, I'm sure Sheldon, I had him, I did a video with him. He was a manager last year, and now he's on the coaching staff, isn't that right?
Yeah, so he's a GA. He was a GA this past season for us, and it was really interesting to see just the role, like, change. Shelly, love him to death, great guy. When he was a manager, he was more my friend, and he's still a good friend of mine today. But it's just like now he's actually a coach, so it's like we can't joke around as much. And he's like got to be more serious, and it's like, definitely. Man, we'd be joking at this point last year, but since you're a GA, you're like, oh, I got to be a little bit more serious. So.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But so your all season was ended short. You had a great season. You're averaging 15 points, I think, almost a game.
I'm not entirely sure.
Not sure, not a bit.
No, I mean, it feels good to play well, but definitely not the results we wanted, especially being that close. We finished our conference season 4-12, losing in overtime to Austin P 90-87. And if we'd have won that game, we would have got in because Jacksonville and Central Arkansas lost. Yeah, so that really hurt just because it was a close game.
But, like, if you look you all weren't getting blown out. A lot of it went down to not having, at the end of the day, there were a lot of injuries at the start.
Yeah, there was. So Kurt Hof, he was our starting big the ASUN year. He tore his LCL, I think 3 games before we opened up at Washington, so that was difficult. Dez with the AC joint separation. The first game he missed was December 30th against High Point, and then he missed the start of conference. I missed the start of conference as well. And we played, I think it was the weekend we played at UCA and at UNA. We had, I think, 8 guys dressing and 6 people ended up playing. So just there's a lot of things that go into that people don't even think about. For example, just the schematic aspect of it, like if you only have 6 guys, you can't be as aggressive on defense, and you can't push the ball as much because you got to think like if we have guys playing 36 to 38 minutes, like
you got to play slower basketball.
Yeah, on paper you want to say don't let your fatigue affect your pace. Everybody says that, but down to it, we have 6 guys. Like we can't get after ball handlers and try to make a play on defense. It was just a whole different scheme.
Especially Bellarmine's offense is all about moving, constant passing the ball, moving, and when you do you're running the entire game. 6 players running the entire game. That's tough. And I mean, even like if you look at practices though, practicing with like when you're really going to play 6 players, that's tough. Like a lot of them are
with 8 guys too. It's like Al Davis, which is our assistant coach, played at Bellarmine. I think he graduated in 2017. He practiced a lot of times. And sometimes he's a coach, sometimes he's a player, and sometimes he's coaching as a player. It's just
when I had Zach on a few weeks ago, Zach Jennings, he said that Al Davis actually got hurt and was on the injury list too.
So he pulled a hammy. So he's like, man, I can't help you guys practice today. So we were doing a lot of 4-on-4. We did the best we could with what we had. It's frustrating because the winning standard here. Obviously, we didn't win it all this year, and we understand that. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. But yeah, I mean, you got bigger things to look forward to now. I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but like looking into March Madness, are you allowed to I guess you definitely can't bet on games, but you can do a bracket, can't you? Can you do that?
I mean, I plan on going on the ESPN Tournament Challenge. I mean, for no money, but
who do you think's gonna win?
Family chat. Who do I think's gonna win? That's a good question. I mean, it would easy to be say. I can't speak. So, it would be easy to say UConn, just because they won it last year and they're dominating, in my opinion. I think this might upset some people, but I think like UK has a lot of highs and lows.
That's who I think.
When they play well, man, I'm like, holy smokes, they're good.
I was talking to someone and I said, if Kentucky makes it past the first 2 rounds, they have a really good chance. That's their issue is playing like smaller teams where they don't have as much film on them. I mean, that's where it comes down to. They can play against the big teams. They've showed that, but they gotta beat the smaller teams first. They're bad when they're favorites. That's what it is.
That you just pretty much spoke to their just inconsistency. You're saying if they make it to past the first 1 to 2 rounds, exactly. That's a big if. But if they do, you're like, oh, they're really clicking. So I'm trying to think of any other teams. I like Houston.
Houston's good, yeah.
I just think Houston's defensive intensity is something to be.
I don't think Purdue has a chance at all.
I mean, it's hard to say. I like Purdue when they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson last year in the tournament in the first round as a 1 seed. So you automatically are just loaded with being skeptical about Purdue. Overall, like you have to be. They lost to a 16 seed last year. You can't be confident going into this year.
But I mean, I hope to have a perfect bracket. I actually know that I'm going to have a perfect bracket. So you all can see me. I'll get a better facility in here too once I get the better bracket after everyone pays me the winning bracket. But I'm sure Bellarmine has a bracket tournament.
Oh, I would hope. I mean, I would hope so. It's fun. Like it's really fun.
So who's for the ASON is going to be in the? It's Stetson.
Yes, Stetson won it all. And then girls, I think Central Arkansas is playing FGCU, which, I mean, FGCU notoriously, like, in women's basketball is incredible. Like, they had I think her name was Kirsten Bell. She's in the WNBA, very talented. Was really good at FGCU. I mean, them in volleyball as well. Like, they're so good. So, I remember watching Central Arkansas women's play before we played them at UCA. So I thought they were really good then as well.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know what the result was. I don't know if they've even played yet, but I know that UCA was the 3 seed, FGCU was the 1, and they're facing off in the final.
Well, the ASON for the men's basketball, that was a crazy tournament. EKU lost in the first round.
And they're the 1 seed. They were the heavy favorite. That just shows, though, the little margin of error. Like Jacksonville's the 10 seed gets in because we didn't take care of business our last game. They beat the 1 seed, and our 2 games against EKU, we lost 82-70 at EKU, and we lost 75-65
at Knights Hall.
At Knights Hall. So I mean, we just had little spurts where we just lost our energy, lost our focus, and that just goes to show, I mean, how even our conference was, which is odd because I would say the 2022 year, the top teams were way more talented than the top teams this year. But the thing about this year that made it really interesting is, like, 1 through 12, like,
there could be an upset any day.
Very well rounded.
You saw it in the tournament. There was upset after upset. Very unpredictable. But I think once Stetson got moving in the tournament, I think everybody knew that they had a pretty good chance.
They're so talented offensively. They do a lot of ball screen action, but they'll trade behind, so they have a shooter run behind. They'll do double ball screens just to add confusion on if you switch, if you hard hedge, you got a shooter popping and a guy rolling.
Yeah.
They're just very, very good with their action and very crisp. It's not like it's a predetermined play or set. They run sets, but also their players know how to play. If you want to hard hedge and take away the drive from the guy who's getting the ball screen, all right, we'll short roll to the top of the key, have a big, and then they face and then play. Or I mean,
it's just more than a drawn up play.
Yeah, you want to run off the shooter. Okay, so set a ball screen, you throw it to the opposite corner. You want to run off the shooter. Well, he's not going to shoot open 3, but he's going to drive into the lane.
Yeah.
If we help off of that, then it's an open 3 for a guy that he passes to. I mean, they got good players.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's very in-depth. I know I just ran through that really fast. But.
They can all play. I mean, as everyone in the conference, though, everyone could play. I mean, your all's last game, Austin P, they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, they made it to the conference championship, which once again just shows, how close the margin of error is. We're 3 points away from getting into the tournament playing against the conference runner-up. So that's what's more frustrating about it to me is we were right there and then just didn't make it. Another interesting thing is you rarely see the last place team 4-12. We were in last place at 4-12. I feel notoriously the last place team in any conference is significantly lower than everybody else. You got a 2-14 record or 1-15.
Oh, you look at the ACC. I mean, Louisville, they were 2-12.
They were 2-12 at one point. I think they finished 3-17 before they lost to NC State. But
yeah, I mean,
I can't comment on that though, unfortunately, because they beat us by 5. So I mean, they were better than us. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
We were last place as well. So
I think you all had injuries going on there. You all were still trying to figure out who could play at that time. I mean, there was you could say a lack of experience at that time. Not everybody had been on the court playing when, I mean, Louisville's team, they had a bunch of transfers too. So there wasn't, it was just a different,
I agree.
experience level there. So I think if y'all were to play them at the end of the season, I think you beat them by 20 points. Honestly, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that, but you never know until we actually roll the balls out and play each other.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can see you next year.
Appreciate it.
Maybe, you never know what's in store for you. So thanks for coming on. Hopefully we see you back. But good luck with your bracket too. I know I'm going to have a perfect one. So thank you all for watching. I don't know what's next in store for the podcast for next week, but I'll have one out. So thank you all for watching, and be looking for more men's basketball coming up next year, I guess, and in the tournament right now. So see y'all.